But as for air traffic control, I know there were some questions yesterday about that, so we have a little bit more information about that. The aircraft had normal communications with Peoria approach control regarding coming in onto the instrument landing system, or ILS 20 approach to Bloomington. Those communications, he was provided vectors to the final approach course. The aircraft was turned onto the final approach course outside of the locator hour marker and an area that would be appropriate for correct servicing and for the aircraft to join the final approach course. Radar data for Peoria approach, we were mentioning that yesterday. Due to the distance away from the sensor, the radar sensor that's located in Peoria, we get to what's called the lower coverage area, where the aircraft would descend below what they call radar coverage. The aircraft descended below radar coverage about where the locator hour marker is, which is about 5 miles away from the end of the runway, in an area that's very normal for the aircraft to descend below radar coverage for Peoria approach. So we don't have radar data from Peoria approach during a vast portion of the descent on the instrument approach towards Bloomington. However, both radar data was resumed approximately 1.5 miles. Again, this is just approximate distances. Approximately 1.5 miles from the end of the runway. The aircraft was right of the runway extended center line. The aircraft was in a climb. Again, this is 1.5 miles from the end of the runway. And approximately 1 mile away from the runway, the aircraft entered a left turn from the inbound course is roughly 200 degrees, so 10 degrees past heading south. The aircraft turned from that more or less track to an easterly heading. And the aircraft was observed to be in a climb and then a descent. And the aircraft proceeded approximately 2.5 miles on that easterly heading. Again, these are approximate distances that I've been provided. And again, the aircraft was shown to be in a climb and then a descent well on this easterly heading. The prescribed missed approach procedure, which is what a pilot should be flying if he or she would like to do a missed approach. At any point in the approach, after they've been cleared of the approach and have passed the outer marker inbound, would be climb straight ahead to a height of 1,500 feet. And then once they reach an altitude of 1,500 feet, they would turn right while remaining in a climb towards 3,000 feet. And they would make a right-hand turn to a heading of 270 or west. And just to make sure that everyone understands, so the climb would be, the prescribed procedure would be a climbing right-hand turn to 3,000 feet to a heading of 270. And the aircraft, from the radar data that's been made available to me and to our investigator in Washington, D.C., is the aircraft actually turned to a heading of east or easterly heading and was observed in climbing and descent. The last radar data that we have is at 6 minutes past midnight and 24 seconds at an altitude of approximately 1,700 feet. And that would be 1,600 feet mean sea level. Not high above the ground, but high. So you have to look at the airport elevation here and subtract it to get high above the ground. The last radar hit, when you look at the air resolution for the distance between the aircraft and the radar sensor, would be within the same air distance. The accident site physical location was about where the last radar hit was found. That's about all the information that I have concerning radar data. There were some questions last night about communications. We are working with the FAA to get the official communications. They have been reviewed. Our individuals received the official communications from Peoria approach. And again, that reconfirmed normal servicing of the aircraft towards the ILS 20 approach. They are continuing to review the voice communications and to catalog that into a transcript, as well as to ensure that all information on the voice exchange between Peoria approach and the aircraft was correct, so that will be for ongoing investigation. There was some questions yesterday about the aircraft when it was switched over to the Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, or CTAF. When the tower is closed here at Bloomington, they do not record transmissions. However, there's not official sources that record data and put it on the internet, and those are not official sources, but we did, our air traffic control specialist was able to review some common traffic advisory frequency communication